All right, everybody. Thank you very much for making the time to join us today. If you are here for the Wastebits 101 webinar, you're in the right place. Couple of quick housekeeping items. My name is David Patterson. I'm the Director of Sales Operations at Wastebits, and I'm going to be leading most of this webinar. But as always, I'm joined by my faithful companion here, Ryan Battles.
Hi, I'm Ryan Battles. I'm the digital strategist at Wastebits, and so I make sure that these webinars run smoothly and help keep them going along. So I'll keep my eye on the chat window. If you're watching a recording of this, you'll have to deal with the questions that the audience had asked during the live webinar, but any questions that come in, I will ask those to Dave and make sure that he can address those as we go along. So yeah, looking forward to this brief time we have together.
Yeah, and please, any questions you have, feel free to interrupt. Don't wait to the end. No problem.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So then kind of jumping right in, I've got my kind of screen sharing. Hopefully everybody is seeing that now. I'll be taking you through some slides today, but it shouldn't be too painful. And but essentially what we're going to do today is at a high level, talk about all of the different software applications that the Wastebits platform has to offer. We've got some exciting new developments that we'll cover at the end. So please stick around for that, or fast forward, I guess, if you're if you're watching this recording. Yeah, again, feel free to ask your questions as we go. And I'm going to get started here. And let's see. All right. And so what you're seeing here now is a list of all of the kind of main modules that we're going to be talking through today. The Wastebits platform, we're a cloud-based multi-tenant system. Many different people can log in all at the same time, work on the same documents at the same time. But the theme that you're going to hear in the webinar today is kind of the story of a waste stream, and I'll try to paint this picture of what the software does in each of these different points. And so what we've got then is first on the list, we do waste streams. This has kind of been the bread and butter of Wastebits from day one. So it is an online portal where generators, any third-party companies, transporters, haulers, waste brokers, those sorts of entities, and the facilities can all collaborate around a waste stream that might need an approval, or even more simplistic waste streams that are really more designed for tracking. And I'll get into that in some more detail when we get to that specific piece. But then as we think about the story here, the waste stream is really kind of the beginning. The manifest itself is the middle, like how the waste stream gets from point A to point B, and then the scale ticket kind of the end of that story. And then we'll spend some time talking about what the dashboard does and how it empowers folks to get insights into all these different pieces of activity. The Wastebits Advantage, as we call it here, there are several different things that our system is going to bring to the table that is going to kind of differentiate ourselves from some other folks in this industry, but also give you a lot of functionality beyond just an online form. And to walk through the 3 points that you see here now, we do have in-app messaging. And so we're able to communicate on a waste stream or on a manifest, for example. And so we know a lot of these things have some back and forth. Generator may not always know what needs to go into the constituents field, for example, or maybe the facility would need to ask for some updated analytical before recertifying something. And so the fact that we've got this in-app messaging capability really saves you the need to bounce in and out of any application back to your inbox, back to your text messages, make a phone call. All of this really could be conducted right in the application, and we have all the kind of functionality that you would expect from messaging today. You can @mention somebody, that'll trigger email notifications. We also have in-app notifications, and so if you're living and breathing in the application, you don't want to miss a thing, the system absolutely facilitates that. Fast and efficient search. We are not kidding around about our search capabilities here, I can tell you that. We use the cutting edge technology to make sure that whatever it is that you're looking for in a list of waste streams or in a list of companies or in a list of users, that you're able to get to that information really quickly. And then this slide about eliminating repetition That's really kind of the essence of what Wastebits brings to the table. We do have the ability to configure a waste stream. Don't get me wrong, if you need something customized, we can absolutely facilitate that. But really what we're trying to do is add efficiency to an industry that frankly has been somewhat underserved technologically for the last, you know, 30-ish years. I mean, think about like the EPA manifest system, for example. Those are all still going on a 5-ply carbon copy paper. There are efficiencies to be added here. And I did mention the ability to customize. I want to stress that somewhat new for us. We do have the ability to build a form to meet the needs of a facility or a service provider that has specific questions or fields that maybe we don't ask in our universal form. Sometimes states are specific, permits can be really specific. And so as you think about how you might adopt something like Wastebits, understand that you could get your specific needs met in the system. Oh, and I missed one, integrated data. This is a good one to mention too. The integrated data piece of this, we are constantly being asked to integrate our system into other systems, whether that's your CRM, your billing, your billing program, and your Scalehouse system. We do have a standalone Scalehouse system that we'll be talking about in some detail here later on, but those are the kinds of things. Maybe you have a solution that's in place already, and you just like to tie all this information together. We can do a hub and spoke model. Sometimes we're the hub, sometimes other programs are, but we do have customer-facing API. This is a little techie here, but we do have a customer-facing API views where that would allow you to build whatever you really needed in terms of a push-pull exchange between the Wastebits system and anything else that you might be running on your facility.
Yeah, I just want to add in there, with the integrated data piece, it's just really nice to have all the different parts of the system talking to each other, so you can easily click through the waste streams that might be on the manifest, and the Scalehouse ticket that might have to do with the manifest coming through. I mean, they're all tied together. But I did want to just take a moment. If anybody here needs to jump off of the call at any time, I wanted to say that if you go to wastebits.com/David, you can see Dave's calendar to book one-on-one time with him. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, if you wanted to get a personal demo, maybe there's something about this that you wanted to see, more in depth within the app for your situation, Dave can help you with that. And his calendar is online, and you can just grab the time slot that you want without having to go through all that back and forth. So it's up to date. It syncs with his calendar. So go to wastebits.com/David, and you'll see Dave's calendar, grab a slot, and have your one-on-one call.
Yeah, please do it. It's always fun when it comes in that way. This is actually kind of a new piece for us, and so I'm excited to see the people that come through there. Yeah, anyway, so talking a little bit more about what we do on the waste stream side, we've got these other points that I'd like to talk to. Empowering customers, depending on where you are in the waste stream process, you might, as a service provider, environmental contractor, part of your value proposition might be that you're doing a lot of the paperwork for a generator, for example. And that is absolutely functionality that's supported. But also if you're a facility company or even service providers, that sort of thing, you may have needs to have your generator companies or your other vendors participating on waste streams and beginning and completing these documents on their own. And this system would absolutely allow that. I mentioned that we are multi-tenant, but the point here is that any entity in the system, whether you're a third-party company, whether the generator of the waste, or whether you're a facility user where the waste is going, you and any of these other groups could come in, have their own login, request it if they didn't have it. You would then be able to prove that. And then you're going to be able to empower them to do their own documentation, whether that's start to finish creating a waste stream and submitting it for approval, or working on something that you had started for them that they're just going to certify and finalize, and anything in between there. Tracking changes. Our system is always going to grab activity that happens in the system. You're always going to get a name, a company, and a date and time stamp for anything that occurs in the system. So if you're ever in a position where if you're an approver at a waste facility and you need to be able to look back at a waste stream and say, geez, last time this thing was approved was 12 months ago. What has changed since then? You can get a quick view of the historic view of that waste stream in particular. And then if you ever had any question about who did what when, the system is going to be able to provide that information back to you with a couple of quick clicks. And then this last piece, this really speaks to something that I was mentioning earlier about how the industry in general has some room to grow. And so our system does offer the ability to clone a waste stream. And just think about the power of copying some of the work that you've done administratively with just a single click. I suspect that a number of you watching this are people who have a pretty select number of waste streams that you work with in a given period of time, or maybe even just a specific number of customers that have a smaller subset of waste streams. This would empower you to essentially create some templates or the ability to duplicate something that was very close. So imagine you're working with like a petroleum contaminated soil waste stream, and everything was about the same on that waste stream except for the generator, or even like the material origin for that generator. Maybe you've got someone who's got a big job that you're doing a cleanup on, something like that. With a single click, you'd be able to duplicate all of that work, make a quick edit, throw your certification on there, and then it's already off to the facility. Just kind of speaking to some of the efficiencies that you'd get. I've been talking a lot about waste streams. Oh, yep. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. We have a question that came into the chat here. Someone asked, as a facility company, how would I interact with my customers on a waste stream?
Well, there are many different ways that you could interact with a customer on a waste stream. First of all, as a facility company, you're going to have full control over your portal. Your portal would be specific to you. It would have your own branding on it. All of that branding would go out in emails and that sort of thing. So really from start to finish in the system, you'd be in control. Who's using the system? You'd be able to see their email address, their first name, last name, that sort of thing, the company that they work for. And then on a waste stream, you'd be able to use kind of our in-app messaging to communicate with them. So you could shoot them a quick note, says, hey, looks like we need some updated analytical. Again, that would save you the need to go to some other program to communicate in that way. But then also you can upload documents that only they could see. There's a myriad number of ways that you're going to be able to interact in this system, whether it's just trying to see the last time they logged in, which you'd be able to do, all the way through to direct communication that's going to live on that waste stream forever. That's another point here to remember, that if you're dealing with an approval that's 18 months old, and yes, you communicated with them maybe over the phone or even an email, you've got it in writing. Now you got to go back and try to remember what was said by who, when. Maybe they don't even work there anymore. This way, all of the comments that occur on a waste stream are going to live there forever. If you make a mistake and you need to edit it, you can do that. If you put something out there that you meant to put on a different waste stream, you can delete it. That's all just fine. But then the conversation is always going to live there. And if you need to have an internal conversation, you can do that too. So you'd be able to limit who could see what from that perspective as well. Okay. Let's going to move on to the next slide here. All right, let's talk about what we do on the manifest side. Today, I'm going to speak, or in this section here, I'm only going to talk about non-hazardous manifests. I'll get to what we do on the haz manifest side here in a little bit. But essentially what we've created here is a system that allows you to, when you've got the waste stream module turned on, you could then also leverage our fully digital manifest, non-hazardous manifest. So we know that most of these approved waste streams eventually have to get shipped somewhere, right? And they all have to go onto a manifest. And our system will allow you with a single click to generate up to 50 manifests against a single waste stream. You can always generate more later, but we limit it to 50 at a time, just to make sure that the file size doesn't get too cumbersome. But what you'd be able to do here is get whether you're the generator, the third-party company, or the facility, once a waste stream is in approved status, you'd be able to just take all of that information that's in the waste stream and move it to the correct forms and boxes on the non-haz manifest. And again, it's a couple of quick clicks. You're still going to have to input the specific data that's relevant to that shipment, container type, quantity, but very, very simple document creation. And then the last part here is the digital signatures that you're going to be able to collect. You don't have to print these things out. Obviously you can. We're always going to be able to generate PDFs and that sort of thing. But if you need to conduct a waste stream, if you'd like to conduct a waste stream in a fully digital way, you could do it through this system. People can digitally sign right in the application, and then that signature will be printed onto a document if you need to. The handling of paper, I know right now, is particularly concerning. The current conditions that we're in obviously are, the kinds of things where people are wanting to reduce the number of touches on a specific document. But really, in general, the efficiency of fully digital go way past just the COVID virus that we're all experiencing right now, and would allow you to we'll conduct this without ever having to exchange paper, theoretically. And then this last thing here around smart forms really just speaks to the power of an online application here. Just like we could clone a waste stream, you can clone a manifest, and again, you're able to create just basically about as many as you need for a big project or a one-off shipment all at once. Do we have any questions around the non-haz manifests?
Yeah, someone just typed in here, if I enter data into the system, who else will see my customer's data?
Oh, that's a great question. The sanctity of data and who should be able to see what is paramount here at Wastebits. The system will never allow, the long and short of it, I can go on and on about the security and how we're backed up and we're in the Amazon cloud and all that good stuff. But the long and short of it is that you, as the subscriber to Wastebits services, will always have ultimate control over who's in your system. You're not thrown in with everybody else. You would have your own whitelisted portal with your branding on it. And you would be fully in control over every single user in the system. And so no one will ever see a manifest or a waste stream or a scale ticket that they are not specifically added to. So if you're a third-party company and you're like, my generator list, that's my whole business, I cannot expose that information, please rest assured that under no circumstances would anyone be able to enter your system, first of all, without your permission. And secondly, they would never, ever see a document that they were not specifically added to. And so, yeah, I definitely understand where the question is coming from. And just rest assured that you're in complete control over who sees what in the portal. All right. Let's talk a little bit about what we do with haz manifests. It's a little bit different for us. It's not entirely in the application because of some of the technological limitations out there in the industry. But if you are a facility company, if you're not a facility company, I guess you skip ahead a minute or two. But if you are a facility company and you do have hazardous waste manifests, not non-haz, but if you are signing or executing haz manifests at your Scalehouse or at your facility somewhere, you are then responsible for reporting that to the EPA. And there are a few different ways that you can do that. You can mail them in, although I believe that 1st of June of 2021, which is right around the corner, you will no longer be able to mail them in. Or you can go to their website and you can upload just the image. You can upload image plus data, or you can do a fully digital. Fully digital is pretty hard to achieve right now. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, that's no longer true, but I suspect that it will be for some time. And so really you're always paying a little bit more depending on the method. Each one of these steps is a little bit more expensive. If you just mail it in, that would be the most expensive. And I think that today that's $25. At any rate, what our system does is through the same application that you could do your waste streams and your non-haz manifests and your scale tickets, we also have a separate module that we could enable for these facility companies that do have to report this, wherein you'd be able to send us PDF scans, or we can integrate, we've done that a number of times as well, to a shared file store. but we would ingest, or you could upload your PDF files of the signed executed manifests. And then from there, our team and technology takes over. We've got a number of manifest experts on staff here who go through and use a combination of technology, reading these manifests digitally, but then also each one is reviewed by one of our manifest experts and checked to make sure that they're complete. We're never going to add information, obviously, but we have a method right through the application, so that, for example, if if the date was missing on the transporter signature, we'd be able to send that file back to you and say, hey, it looks like this field doesn't have the information that it needs for us to submit it. And then from there, you could then respond right in the application, let us know the missing information, or type it into the form right yourself. And then we could then complete that. And some of the statistics that you see here on the screen, we do represent an enormous number of manifests going into the EPA's database every year. And I think at one point we were like somewhere around 15 to 20% of the total volume going in there. Some of the biggest names in the industry are leveraging our software to take the administrative burden off of their team, let them get back to the things that they're good at, and then give the manifest review QC QA process over to us. And then we make sure that we're getting these things to the EPA within that 30-day timeline. Obviously, you've got to get it to us within enough time, but we do tens of thousands of these every month, and we've gotten very good at it. So we're able to do many at a time.
I just wanted to add, Dave, I hear you, or David, I hear you saying, over and over, certain things are possible right now, certain things are getting easier. We work directly with the EPA. We're on regular phone calls with them, with their dev team to, help move this thing forward. So we integrate with them as much as it's possible to integrate with them. And we are on the cutting edge of the meetings and the decisions that are being made. Even one of our employees was on the forming committee for the e-manifest, to help get the thing rolling and provide input. So we really do work closely with them, and we get the integrations as tight as we can. And we just happen to save people money in the process because, the EPA is charging a certain amount in order to, send in your paper to them, and they'll do the work that Wastebits does. But we realize right away we can provide a cost savings and do it better. So faster, more accurate, less cost. I mean, it's like the golden cow or whatever of this product.
That's definitely true. If you're mailing in your manifest today, you should go to wastebits.com/David and book some time, because we could probably save you an enormous amount of money.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Any question on Has Manifest at all?
Yeah, I don't see anything coming in.
Okay.
If you continue to have any questions, just put them in there, and then I'll interrupt Dave and we'll go back and talk about it.
Yeah. So the last part of this story, not the last thing we're going to talk about today, because we still have the new stuff to talk about, but the last part of this story today is the Scalehouse module that we have. And I've been talking about this like waste stream story. The beginning of the story is the profile itself. Middle of the story is this manifest. And then here we are at the end. The load has arrived at the landfill. Now what? If you're a facility company and you need a Scalehouse solution, we have built one that it can be a standalone solution, works just fine. You can enter scale tickets, all that kind of, print. Obviously, you've got that up here. You can print with or without pricing. But then also the power here that I was alluding to when we were talking about the manifests, that same efficiency comes in at the Scalehouse level as well. So just in the same way that you can pull all that relevant data from an approved profile and populate it to a manifest, we can do that same kind of efficiency gain on a Scalehouse ticket. So we've got, if you've got all the modules turned on, you're creating your waste stream, getting that approved, clicking generate manifest, it goes onto the manifest. When the manifest comes either digitally through the system or the driver is holding a piece of paper at the gate, you're able to pull that up really quickly, type in the ticket number essentially, and all of the rest of the information is there ready to go. You might have to tweak the volume, right, in case there's a discrepancy between what's written on the manifest and what's written on the scale. But this is the power of leveraging these three things all at once. You're taking out, hundreds of keystrokes every time you take one of these, uh, you know, uh, waste profiles, excuse me, and moving it through this process. I mean, we talk to people every day who are handwriting manifests, who are even handwriting scale tickets and that sort of thing. And what we're talking about is revolutionary when it comes to companies that are still doing things a little bit more manually. If you're using spreadsheets or if you're handwriting anything, we should really talk. And then the last note that we have here is around reporting. And the most exciting thing when I get, the thing that really gets me excited when I talk about this program is the reporting capabilities. Because for folks that are trying to get insights into their business, when you can tie waste stream data directly to manifest data, directly to Scalehouse data, we start to paint a picture here where we're able to identify very quickly the fastest facilities when it comes to turnaround time, on approvals, the most valuable or least valuable waste streams, the most valuable, least valuable customers. Depending on where you sit in this story, the data capabilities here are really endless. And so, if you're a third-party company, imagine how amazing it would be to be able to get your invoices done a month sooner than you could have in the past. In this system, for example, like as soon as the Scalehouse hits save on a scale ticket, that's viewable for you. And then you'd be able to turn around potentially and bill your customer that much faster. And so, it's hard to articulate all of the things that tying these three different modules together can do. But what I can tell you is that inevitably it provides a lot of value for people. Do we have anything? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. A question actually just came in. Someone says, I operate 3 different scale houses. Does your software provide a single access point, and do I have the same, or do I have to have the same pricing for all of my locations?
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. Well, so the short answer there is no. Each individual site or each scale house, each facility location, however you want to think about it, you're going to have the ability as the facility user to build whatever pricing tables are relevant for that site, even if they're just right across the street and they are the same. That's no problem, obviously. But if you've got facility sites scattered across the country and you're looking at this from an enterprise standpoint, please understand that the system is going to be flexible enough to allow you to build your own rate tables, your own material types. You're going to be able to name repeat customers to make it that much easier. So if you see Fred with so-and-so hauling truck number 123, you're going to be able to build Fred's profile right into your scale. And so instead of having to look through something or try to find something, you're 2 or 3 keystrokes away, just entering the truck number or the company, any of those things, and you're going to get to it very quickly. So yeah, the system is not going to limit you at all when it comes to pricing your material or the types of materials that you can accept or the regions from which you accept materials. So if you need to be able to build in the origin, the material origin fields as well, you're going to be able to build that in to make sure that your biennial reporting is up to date. All right. On to the last thing here is the business dashboard. We do have a very snazzy dashboard, very beautiful. Obviously, this is a real image of the dashboard. You can see the different modules listed on the left-hand side, but then you're going to also be able to get all kinds of insights very quickly. This is what you would see as soon as you log in. This view is customizable, so if you wanted to move the tiles around, you could do that. If you wanted to turn certain tiles off, maybe they're not relevant to your user, you can absolutely do that. But just a couple of examples here, you're going to be able to get to a quick list of waste streams that are expiring with the click of a button, waste profiles that are pending approval. So if like a generator or a service provider, in the time between you last logged in, the system is going to tell you, hey, here are all the waste streams out there that have been submitted that haven't been reviewed. And that's just a couple of examples. But we've got a very nice, very user-friendly dashboard that you can configure. And The last thing that we're going to talk about today is a brand new product for us that we're really excited about. I've been doing a ton of sales calls about these, and not to brag about my own sales prowess here, but my close rate is through the roof right now. But at any rate, what we've done is through a combination of different endpoints, public data. Everything that we talk about here when it comes to insights is public data. This is not data that comes out of our system. We're never going to be reporting our customer information in this regard. So primarily today, one of the biggest places we're pulling information is from record info. And so they've got, they have, I think, Freedom of Information Act kind of requirements to disclose hazardous manifest information. And we have built the sharpest reporting suite around that data and some other endpoints, state specific, location specific. There are a couple of other ones that we're working with as well. We're pulling in all that information.
We take a variety of sources. I just want to clarify a variety of sources and have combined them to our own data set. So it is our data set that we are continuing to feed with live data that's publicly available from other locations. But yeah, it's good to clarify, Dave. This is not us exposing our customers' information. This is all stuff that is out there and gatherable, but is often just way too hard to get all into one location and to provide any kind of real insight from. So
no, that's exactly right. Like the record info, what they drop out of their system is not super user friendly. And some of these state databases are even more complicated. And so what we've done is we've made it very easy for, and when I think about who this is most valuable for, it's definitely the facility companies and the third-party companies, waste brokers, and environmental contractors and stuff like that, so that you're able to slice and dice all of that manifest data. So imagine being able to go in and pull up the generator profile for a customer that you're really going after, and not only be able to see how much waste that they generate over any period of time. I think our database goes back to 2018. But not just be able to produce a report about what they produce or how much they produce over time, but we also will be able to show you where they're sending that waste or which haulers are associated with transporting that waste. And so you're able to get not just a list of, the volume over time. You can actually find out who they're using to help facilitate their waste transport or who's disposing of this for them. And in the same way that you can do that for a generator, you could do that for a facility. If you're a facility company and your biggest competitor is eating your lunch, and you're like, I'm ready to start kicking some butt here. We can, in the same way that we could show you what a generator does and who they send it to, we've got that same data for facilities. And so who's your biggest competitor's biggest customer, for example? Those are the kinds of things that we can show. Or if you're looking for information that would be specific to a certain kind of waste, as you can see here on the screen, you can search by the state waste code or the federal waste code. Maybe you're someone who specializes in just 2 or 3 different waste streams. You can get dialed into the facilities that do the most work with those waste streams in your area, and the generators that produce the most, and the transporters, the haulers, the third-party people who are hauling those waste types the most. You can search by NAICS code, and we're adding to this all the time. I mean, the application has evolved just in the last, maybe we've released while we've been on this webinar. It's happening so fast. So it's still a product that we're building every single day. And frankly, it's really taking off, and it's been a really exciting thing to work on and watch grow. Ryan, actually, in addition to being our top-notch digital strategist, is also someone who's got a real knack for this sort of thing, and he's been working pretty heavily on it as well. So we're really
it's been an exciting project, and like Dave said, continuing to evolve. We are coming up with new ideas based on feedback from the people that we have in the system early on. It's just been a game changer for some people, and it's really, I see it as an unfair advantage that the people who are subscribing to this are going to have over their competitors, because they will have access to these insights that they can, directly take to their sales team and say, here's our prospecting right here. Like these are the accounts we need to get. This is the volume. This is where we need to be focusing our attention. And probably my favorite testimonial that came out of this was somebody who was just silent and then just
Yeah.
said, wow.
Yeah.
It was speechless. Sometimes the best testimonial is like no testimonial.
That's right.
Like,
Yeah, we could just
didn't
put
have words.
ellipsis and some quotes up on the website. But yeah, that's exactly right. I think in the past, this report was called like the Tanner report. And I don't even know how often it came out, once a year, once every 2 years. By the time it came out, it was dated, right? It was already a year old. This is as up to date as we can keep the system, and it's being updated. I think at this point it's weekly, but I know we're looking at increasing the frequency of that. So
Yeah.
this is at all of interest, please go to wastebits.com/David. I love saying that, Ryan. That's so cool. Please go to wastebits.com/David. Book some time with me or give me a call. On our website, we've got our sales number. You can give me a call that way. And if you've registered for this, you might actually even have my email. I'm not sure. So
yeah, I think everybody here should have emails that have come to you both before, and then we'll send just a couple follow-ups afterwards, just to make sure that you have that info and any kind of bullet points of anything that we talked about that if you want to share with anybody else on your team or take back to get approval for any sort of purchases. There's just we'll send that data to your email for sure.
Yeah. And then here, this last slide is just a little bit what we have on our wastebits.com website. We've got the standard kind of case studies, testimonials that we were just talking about. And also we've got our entire knowledge base there. So if you have any questions about how it works, feel free to dive in. I mean, there are support articles, right? But if you do want to kind of get a better idea, we've got good screenshots there and walkthroughs and that sort of thing. And then of course, wastebits.com/David. I don't know if I've said that enough, but if you have any interest in booking some time, please go and check it out.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and hope to speak with you soon. If you have any questions, again, use the contact form on our website. You can reach out to support@wastebits.com, and then obviously David, you can get some one-on-one time with him if you would like to take a look inside the system and get a personal demo.
All right, well, thanks again for joining us, making the time, and hopefully we'll be hearing from you soon.
All right, take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.